great way to cook vegetables to really bring out their natural sweetness and bring out a lot of flavor. Because you are actually removing moisture from the vegetable, you're concentrating the flavor of those vegetables. One thing that's really important to know though is that the size and the shape of the vegetable is really important when you're about to do some roasting. So I have some vegetables that I've already cut up, and you can see some of these in different videos. This is butternut squash, Brussels sprouts, and I've just taken these and cut them in half. Also in another video, you've seen me peel and dice up turnips. So the radishes, they can be roasted whole, or you could just you could cut them in half or in quarters and roast them. Also, there's a beet video that you might have seen that we've posted already that has the beet cubes and the beet tops. These are ready to be roasted. And the other vegetables that I'm going to cut up for you are sweet potatoes, parsnips, and carrots. So the parsnips are the ones that are kind of the beige color, and it is not necessary to peel these vegetables, but one thing you do need to know about roasting vegetables is that the harder the vegetables are, the longer cooking time that they're going to need. So carrots and parsnips are in the same family, but parsnips need to be cut quite smaller than carrots because they're much harder and they have a longer cooking time. So that's important to know with all of your vegetables, is that the harder the vegetable is to start out, the longer you're going to need to cook that. So if you want to cook many vegetables together in the same pan, many different vegetables, then you're going to need to understand which ones are harder, and they're going to need to be a smaller cube than something soft. So these carrots are going to be a larger cut than the parsnips because the parsnips are a harder vegetable. Okay, so this is a bowl of multi-variety potatoes. So we have just white-skinned potatoes, some red-skinned potatoes, and then these purple Peruvian potatoes. So they're purple on the outside and they actually have kind of a purple flesh. You can roast them just as they are, toss in a little bit of olive oil and roast at about 400 degrees. But if you would like them to have a crisper texture, then you're going to want to cut these in half and place them cut side down on the cutting board. So I just like to cut them lengthwise, place down on the cutting board. So just continue this with all of the potatoes, cut side down, and a tiny sprinkle of salt and pepper, and then roast for around 25 minutes, tossing about halfway in between. Okay, so these carrots, parsnips, and sweet potatoes are almost ready to go in the oven. So I've cut them and put them on a oiled sheet pan. So I'm just tossing the vegetables with a little bit of oil. It's probably about 2 teaspoons of oil on this sheet pan. And you'll notice that I don't have the sheet pan completely packed full of vegetables. And the reason is because we're wanting to roast them and not steam them. So if you have too many vegetables on the sheet pan at one time, the vegetables will be crowded together and they will start releasing their juices and they will steam, and you'll never get that caramelization that you're looking for. So if you want to cook twice as many vegetables, use another sheet pan, not just try to crowd them all together. So these are fairly well tossed with the olive oil. And I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. And I do like to use kosher salt. It has a little bit better texture. And then I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And if you wanted to use a pepper grinder, that's even better for a little fresher cracked pepper taste. But then toss all of that together. And these are going to go in the oven for probably around 30 minutes. So they are edible at any point. So if you like them to have a little more bite to them, take them out earlier. If you like them to be very soft and have lots of golden brown edges, take them out later, but still around 30 minutes. Okay, so you can see that these roasted potatoes are very well roasted, and they started out cut side down so that they're nice and crisp, and we stirred them about halfway in between. And then on these roasted vegetables over here, sweet potato, carrot, and parsnip, they're getting some good caramelization. You could get them darker if you wanted them to be darker, but you can see that they are nice and tender. They're ready to be eaten right now. And even the parsnip is nice and soft, even though it's a harder vegetable.